There has been a seismic shift in global trade dynamics, and it has far-reaching implications. Japan, a long-standing ally of the United States, has made an unexpected move, resisting U.S. pressure to join a trade bloc against China, its largest trading partner. This decision, spurred by Donald Trump's trade policies, reveals the complexities of international economics and the unintended consequences of protectionism. Why has Japan made this choice? And how does it expose flaws in U.S. trade strategy? And ultimately, what will it mean for the American economy? Let's talk about it. 大家好，我是 Sirant 在中国. Hey everyone, it's Sirant in China. How y'all doing today? I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm having a great day here in Shenzhen. It's a little bit overcast, a little bit sunny, and the temperature's up to about 30 degrees without the humidity. But believe it or not, I'm already starting to get used to that heat again. And you know what else? I am so happy these days that so many of my fantastic viewers and subscribers have made the decision to hit that subscribe button below. And since you like the content that I'm making, a lot more of you are throwing me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. This goes a long way in helping the YouTube algorithm to find my videos and to share them with more people. And special thanks to everybody who has used the links above or down in the description to buy me a cup of coffee. I really, truly appreciate it. We're getting so close to that 15,000 subscriber mark, and with your help, we can get there in no time. And hey, make sure that you go check out my other channel, Sirant Travels. I've got new content coming there all the time, and I'm planning on making a new trip next week. But for now, let's get to today's topic. Global alliances are evolving at an unprecedented rate, and Japan's recent decision marks a turning point. Facing pressure from the Trump administration to curb economic ties with China, Tokyo has opted to protect its own interests. China isn't just a neighbor. It's Japan's biggest trading partner, supplying critical goods and raw materials. The Japanese government has made it very clear. Joining a US-led effort to isolate China would jeopardize its entire economy. This isn't just about ideology, it's about pragmatism. With China as the top trading partner for over 120 countries, Japan's stance reflects a broader reality, and that is, nations prioritize survival over political allegiances. Japan's defense of China is nothing short of transformative. Japan is home to over 120 US military bases and has historically aligned itself with American interests. Yet, here it is, effectively defending China against US trade aggression. But why? Because Trump's trade war misses a fundamental truth. Cutting off China is simply not feasible for most economies. Japan's resistance isn't just a rejection of US policy, it's a wake-up call. Countries will always act in their own best interest, and for Japan, that means preserving its economic lifeline to Beijing. The trade ties with China are the lifeblood of the Japanese economy. Shutting that off would be devastating to manufacturing, infrastructure, and indeed, daily life in general in Japan. No other country, including America, would be able to maintain the flow of necessary raw materials and manufactured goods required by the world's fifth largest economy. At this point, Japan's frustration has boiled over, breaking its cultural norm of restraint. Government officials have publicly criticized the Trump administration, calling its demands unreasonable and inconsistent. One official likened negotiating with the US to dealing with an extortionist, a stunning analogy from a diplomatic ally. They argue that conceding to such tactics sets a dangerous precedent, emboldening further demands. If you give in once to extortion, the extortion will occur again and again. This candid exposure reveals a trade strategy in disarray, undermining U.S. credibility on the world stage. And the fallout isn't just international, it's hitting home. A recent ABC poll shows that nearly 2/3 of Americans disapprove of Trump's tariffs, with 71% fearing higher inflation and soaring consumer prices. The numbers back this up. The Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index, a monthly survey of about 250 manufacturers in the 3rd Federal Reserve District in America, crashed to negative 26.4 in April, a stark signal of industrial decline. Trump's promise to revive U.S. manufacturing is unraveling. Tariffs have slapped a 145% premium on Chinese imports, making American factories less competitive while the rest of the world buys at market rates. The irony? These policies haven't isolated China, they've isolated the U.S. Japan has gone so far as to even call out the basic math behind Trump's tariffs. Take Thailand as an example. Trump claims that a 72% tariff rate derived by dividing the U.S. trade deficit by Thailand's exports is valid. It's utter nonsense. Real tariff rates come from duties collected divided by import value, often yielding rates as low as 2%. Japanese officials have slammed this as nonsensical, warning that negotiating with an administration that can't grasp basic economics is futile. The result? Over a week after trade talks, Japan still can't get a straight answer from the US, stalling deals and rattling markets. Japan's pivot and American trade missteps highlight a world in flux. Staying informed is the key to navigating these shifts and not falling between the cracks. I predict more countries will begin to call out Donald Trump and his administration's nonsensical trade demands and practices. Japan is by far not the only country heavily dependent on trade with China, regardless of political or social differences. If one of America's staunchest allies and trade partners is willing to expose the extortionist trade practices of America and turn even further to Chinese influence, I have no doubt many more nations will do the same. Will Japan carry through with their show of defiance, or will they ultimately capitulate to Trump's demands? Will their strength and opposition to these unfair trade practices act as a guiding light for other countries who are being abused by America in global trade? Will China and BRICS begin to ratchet up, ultimately replacing the G7 as the preferred global trade organization? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear your take. But for now, as always, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. 再见.